Soviet Russia, like how bad Russia is in terms of cracking down on thought police and cracking down on bad tweets and things like that. I think the statistics are, I think England I think there's something like 4,000 people have been arrested in England for thought crimes, where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or
The UK is experiencing significant political tension, and Joe Rogan has been paying close attention. He recently criticized the country's current state, particularly under the leadership of Kier Starmer. As the head of the Labour Party, Starmer has been working to manage international relations, but some of his decisions have sparked controversy.
I've met Donald Trump. He was good enough to come to New York when I was there a few weeks ago at the UN. He came up from Florida. We had dinner together. Our shared purpose was to ensure that we got to know each other, that we ensured that we had a good relationship between us. Of course, I wouldn't want Donald Trump round.
He has been managing relations with both Donald Trump and Ukraine, raising questions about where his true loyalties lie. With increasing pressure from Russia, the situation has gone beyond politics. It's now about how far the UK is willing to go and whether its citizens will have a voice in the matter.
In Canada, I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't discuss Canada.
Thank you. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead, yes. Thank you.
Joe Rogan has never hesitated to speak his mind, and recently he made some bold statements about the state of the UK. He compared the country's increasing restrictions to the strict regulations seen in places like Russia. According to Rogan, the UK government has been tightening control over civil liberties, limiting free expression. He highlighted how the public is facing growing restrictions, particularly on the press and personal freedoms, drawing parallels to Russia's level of control.
You can't give people that much control. You can't give people that much control over what offends them or what offends people, what you could say, what you can't say.
Can you imagine if they would come at the end of every episode, they'd be waiting outside of your...
Yeah, here's the thing, man. This is a new thing. This wasn't England 10 years ago, all right? This is a new thing, and it's a scary thing. It's a really scary...
When it comes to free speech, Rogan didn't hold back. He claimed that the UK government has been gradually restricting people's right to express themselves, citing laws that limit protests and suppress dissenting voices. While harsh restrictions have long been a reality in Russia, Rogan pointed out that the UK is slowly heading in a similar direction.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in Russia they're too scared to do it at all.
Could be. Yeah. But the fact that they're comfortable with finding people who've said something that they disagree with and putting them in a fucking cage in England in 2024 is really wild.
The reaction to Rogan's remarks was intense. Many in the UK accused him of exaggerating, while others saw censorship as a real issue. The government dismissed his claims, but the debate remains: is the UK following Russia's lead, or is Rogan just stirring controversy? When Donald Trump met Kier Starmer, he didn't hold back. He warned that without US support, Britain's defense against Russia was weak. His stance was clear: Britain would struggle alone. This put pressure on Starmer to rethink defense strategies. Starmer assured Trump of the UK's military strength but also pushed for more aid to Ukraine. Critics questioned his balancing act, supporting Ukraine while staying on good terms with Trump. His idea of sending peacekeeping troops to Ukraine complicated UK-US relations even further. Meanwhile, Trump's decision to pull support for Ukraine shook global alliances. Many now question whether the US, under Trump, is a reliable partner. Critics argue that media bias fuels opposition against him, ignoring past U.S. leaders' dealings with Russia. Kier Starmer's foreign policy remains under scrutiny. He seeks strong UK-US ties but also fully backs Ukraine, leading to doubts about Britain's true stance. Is this strategic diplomacy or indecisiveness? Supporters say he's keeping global tensions in check. Critics believe it weakens Britain's position. Tensions with Russia have escalated. A top Russian official accused the UK of fueling the conflict by aiding Ukraine. This shows how Britain's stance brings both praise and backlash, placing the nation in Russia's crosshairs. At home, public opinion is divided. Some support Starmer's tough stance, while others fear deeper conflict. Meanwhile, concerns over free speech grow. Joe Rogan warns that discussing Ukraine or pandemic policies now carries risks, with people facing legal trouble for speaking out. The UK claims to uphold free speech, but critics argue restrictions are tightening. Rogan insists it's about the right to speak without fear. As tensions rise, Britain faces an uncertain future. Political divisions, public unrest, and shifting alliances shape the nation's path. Will the UK strengthen ties with the US and Ukraine or reconsider its approach? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.